Living here in a rural area in Southern California, we're surrounded by millions of people living in cities, but we have difficulty getting internet here at our home. In this video, I'll share why I've selected Starlink and my results. Hi, I'm Don Bullock. Welcome to the Tech iHound. I call this channel the Tech iHound because I sniff out news about Apple Computer and related technologies that I use here in my studio and in my home. Today I have some information on using Starlink as our internet provider. Starlink is now a choice that's available in a lot of places around the world. I even have a friend in Australia who recently switched to Starlink. Before I get started, I'd like to dedicate this video to the many workers at both SpaceX and Starlink who have made this technology available. It's these people, not the owners and executives, who have done all the work, and as shown here, they're very enthusiastic about their work. Their passion for what they do has made this fantastic technology possible. In 2009, when my wife and I decided to retire, we found a nice home that met our needs on an acre of land in a rural area in northern San Diego County, California. Like many rural areas at the time, access to the internet was very limited. Over the years, we've used Viasat satellite plus cell phone connections for our internet service providers. Both became very expensive, especially when we exceeded our very low data limits. Doing any type of streaming was almost impossible due to the data limits and the slow speeds. Several years ago, AT&T made improvements in their internet service, so we switched over to it. This initially gave us much higher data limits, and eventually they expanded it to unlimited data, which was wonderful. While AT&T advertises their high-speed fiber, it stops about 3/4 of a mile up the road from our house, so our service would copper wire phone lines from there. And do you know how thin those wires are? While our download speeds were sufficient enough to stream, we'd still had some buffering from time to time, and our upload speeds were extremely low. Sometimes uploading a video to YouTube would take several hours. I even experienced interruptions uploading and even downloading large files fairly often, and I had to do it again once I got the interruption. Once it happened in the middle of a download of a Mac OS update. An Apple representative and I spent more than 3 hours on the phone and the internet connection to successfully get the new Mac OS installed on my Mac. After that experience and the fact that we decided to stream more, I started looking for alternatives to AT&T wired internet. While we do have cable running along the poles on the street down here, the technician we had come out to check our property told us our home was too far off the street for them to run it up to our home. He claimed he might be able to reach the corner of our garage, but made no promises on quality nor speeds. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. From what I understand from many people around here that I've talked to, the cable service in our area isn't very reliable anyway. Besides, my wife was not supportive of them tearing up our driveway and our yard to run the cable up to the house. Yesterday, I got an email from Frontier. They wanted me to sign up for their fiber internet service. When I put my address into their website, they immediately forwarded me to AT&T. Obviously, Frontier doesn't plan on serving our area either. Recently, 5G cell internet has become popular and available in many areas, so I checked on it. We use Verizon for our cell phones, but Verizon coverage to our house is not great. We barely get 1 or 2 bars on my cell phone, so their 5G internet wouldn't work for us. For those of you who are wondering about T-Mobile internet, despite their terrible commercials saying it's for everyone, It isn't available where we live. Since we use AT&T home cell phone service, I checked them out as well. While they claim they can get 5G coverage to our address, we have to switch everything, including our current cell phones, over to AT&T and still wouldn't have enough lines to qualify for their unlimited 5G internet plans. We've had terrible customer service from them with our home cell phone service, so I didn't want to trust them with the internet to our house. The clincher was their fine print on their internet plan states, quote, "We may slow it after you've used more than 50 gigabits or 22 gigabits of data in a single bill period," end quote. That just wouldn't work for us. Just this past month, we've used over 500 gigabits of data alone. This is typical usage for us here, and there are times when we go well over that. Baseball season hasn't even started yet. Besides, I'd be in deep trouble if my wife's Dodger games were buffered by a slow internet connection. Our neighbor told me that she had decided to try Starlink. She shared her speeds and experiences using it. We also have a friend in Tennessee who's been using Starlink. He likes it as well. Just about the time I spoke to both of them, Starlink introduced a discount on their antenna router kit for our area, so we decided to try it. Now, I'm sure you can tell that I'm not as young as most of you. I had decided that a spot on our roof would be the best possible location for the Starlink dish by using a satellite view of our home and surrounding trees and Starlink's app. The thought of me climbing up on the roof to set up the antenna was out of the question. Besides, my wife wisely refuses to let me climb ladders. Fortunately, we have a friend who is an electrician. He came out and used his cell phone with the Starlink app to check for obstructions to see if my choice for location for the satellite dish on our roof was good. According to the app, it was perfect for the dish. The only possible obstructions were some tree limbs on a hill up above our home, but they were along one lower edge. I ordered the regular Starlink Gen 3 kit and one of their pivot roof mounts from Starlink. There are several different choices of mounts from Starlink and on Amazon, but I thought the pivot mount was the best choice for our situation. Once the kit and mount had both arrived from Starlink, we set up an appointment with our electrician friend for the install. I set everything out for him. When he came, I explained the whole process. As usual, when he comes, I gave him as much support from the ground as I could. His first step was installing the mount on our roof. That part of the install was easy and took less than half an hour. Attaching the Starlink dish and coax to the mount came next. Both went smoothly. Once that was done, he sent the end of the coax down to me on the ground and attached the cable down the end of the house. There's a closet just inside that end wall of our house. I decided that the shelf inside that closet was a perfect spot for the Starlink modem and router. He drilled a hole from the inside of the closet so that we could run the coax through the wall and into the closet. We placed some grommets on both sides of the wall and sealed them with caulk, making a watertight seal around the cable. Conveniently, there was an electrical outlet on the wall just outside the opposite end of the closet. The electrician used it to add an additional outlet on the wall inside the bottom of the closet. With the coax from the dish coming into one end of the closet and the power plug for both Starlink and my Eero mesh router on the other end of the closet, I set everything up on the closet shelf down at the end where the power plug is. The 75 feet of coax that came with the dish was more than adequate. Setting up the Starlink modem router was simple. I placed the Starlink router in bypass mode and attached it by cable to my Eero mesh router. Everything was connected and instantly up and running, including all my Wi-Fi devices that were on my Eero mesh network. Nothing had to be reset. That was fantastic. With everything hooked up, the electrician just had to go back up on the roof to align the dish according to the information provided on Starlink's app. That took a few minutes and everything was set. We were up and running. When we signed up for Starlink, there was a 1 terabyte limit that once reached, they could slow our speeds. We have now unlimited data. Obviously, with any internet service provider, things like that can be different for different users, and they can change at any time. My speeds with Starlink aren't as good as some of you might get, especially those of you with fiber optic connections. The Starlink speeds also fluctuate quite a bit. They're certainly a lot better than they were with the other choices that I've tried. Speeds from Starlink are more than ample for the things that we do. It's also possible that the speeds will increase as Starlink adds satellites, which they're doing rather rapidly. Their CEO has recently claimed that their plans for the future include much higher speeds and better latency using new versions of their satellites. That, however, will have to wait until SpaceX Starship is capable of launching larger satellites. Of course, I'd recommend never getting any kind of technology based on future promises, but it's still amazing what they've done so far. Starlink speeds fluctuate because of the location of the satellite that the dish latches onto. That changes often according to the Starlink Watch app that I have. As you can see, the app shows all the Starlink satellites flying overhead. The number of satellites within range of my dish varies over time. I've watched the numbers range from as high as 24 and maybe even more, and as low as 0, which doesn't happen often or for very long. I'm sure some of you are wondering by now what speeds we are getting with Starlink. Before I do that, I'll share what speeds we had using AT&T to give you a fair comparison between then and now. So these are the speeds that I got from AT&T wired internet from speed test. Download is 24.6 and upload is 5.37. Then from Speed Smart, I have 27.6 download and 3.6 upload. Now we'll see the speeds from Starlink. First test from Speed Test, 392 down and 21.6 up. Then we had the speeds from Speed Smart, 232.1 down and 7.89 up. Now these are the speeds that I first got when I installed Starlink. For now, a service like Starlink seems to be our best choice. Just recently, for example, I upgraded my Mac Studio to Mac OS 15 Sequoia. It went smoothly and quickly as opposed to 2 years ago when I updated to Ventura, as I mentioned earlier. And yes, I skipped Sonoma. I didn't want to take a chance repeating the problem I had when I updated to Mac OS 13. Starlink is becoming a more popular choice. Just recently, I've noticed that our area, as well as some other areas in the United States, that Starlink is sold out. They have reached their maximum number of customers based on their capacity in those areas. People who want to use Starlink have to join a waiting list. I do have to mention that Starlink does come with a cost. For residential use, which is what we have, it's $120 per month. Starlink recently made some major changes on some of their satellite dish packages. For others, they've lowered the price or they're offering specific discounts depending on the location or usage. To find out what's available to you where you live, go to the Starlink website and type in your address. It will show you all the current packages and prices and options that are available where you live. While local retailers do have some Starlink kits for sale, they don't always offer the same discounts that are available through Starlink. No matter where you plan to purchase your kit, I'd suggest checking with the website first to see if it's available at your address. That's something I don't think the retailers can tell you. I've also heard of problems where retailers have restocked returned dish packages and the new buyer had difficulty getting it registered with Starlink because the original buyer had already registered it with Starlink. That can be a real big problem. To use Starlink, you also need a clear view of the sky. For us, it's the northern sky, but it may vary depending on your location. You can check to see if you have the necessary opening using the Starlink app before committing to anything. It can be downloaded free from the app stores. The app includes all the directions and will give you a visual image of any obstructions that may affect your connection. I'd also suggest using a satellite view of your home like we did. One issue we have had with Starlink is that customers are identified by the location of the ground station where their signal lands, not their actual location. As I mentioned, my wife is a big baseball fan and watches the Dodger games online using the Major League Baseball TV app. Since the closest Starlink ground station is in Los Angeles County, not San Diego County where we live, her Los Angeles Dodgers home games are blacked out due to MLB's blackout rules. So the app won't let her watch the game. On a monthly basis, I have to get online and request an override from MLB TV to remove the blackouts so she can see her games. Fortunately, so far, the override has been instantaneous and she hasn't missed any of her games. Yes, MLB and Starlink need to get this fixed. Now, is Starlink for everyone? Absolutely not. Anyone who has fiber connections to the internet available to them or some setup where they have decent speeds and high data caps, they shouldn't consider Starlink. For those of you with cable services, Starlink might be a better choice depending on the reliability of your cable company. Of course, cost is a factor. Most other internet provider services are cheaper than Starlink. But for those of us in rural areas away from any such services and we need more data that those data caps allow, Starlink is a great solution for now. Some of you may wish to add Starlink as a backup to what you currently have. I know that the Twit podcast studio that Leo Laporte has set up in his home uses Starlink when his local cable provider's internet goes out. Having a stable internet connections is something that they need with their streaming service. He said recently that he uses Starlink fairly often. Perhaps once Amazon gets their planned satellite constellation, Project Kuiper, up and running, we'll see prices for low-orbit satellite internet come down. Amazon is currently manufacturing both satellites and dishes, but personally, I'm not counting on it happening anytime soon. Do I recommend Starlink? In my opinion, it's a great option for many who currently have low data limits on their choices and they want to stream video or upload and download a lot of data. Starlink, as I mentioned earlier, may also provide dependable backup for those of you that need to maintain an internet connection. Obviously, it would be great for those of you who are in a rural area like ours is, and you need internet services. Am I happy with Starlink? While the cost is higher than most other choices, it seems to be the best choice for our specific situation. The satellite's reliability with no data limits makes it far better than any other choices that we have. I have a video over here that you might be interested in and one below that YouTube thinks you might like. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'm planning on making another video on Starlink. How do we get here that I think you'll be interested in? Thank you all very much for watching.